So why is it that everybody is hating on Ilia Topuria right now? Well, not everybody, of course, because there's nobody that loves Ilia Topuria more than Ilia Topuria. And that's no joke either. I mean, this is the same man that tattooed his own face on his own chest. Like, at least make it funny like Steve-O did it, surely. Now, of course, not everybody hates Ilia Topuria. I mean, he's one of the most interesting, most exciting fighters in the UFC right now. So don't get me wrong, I'm as much of an Illy-sexual as much as the next guy. In fact, I've been accused of glazing this man a little bit too much over the last couple years. Not as much as Ilia glazes Ilia, mind you, but still. So with Ilia Topuria being so talented, so fun to watch, and of course, so incredibly humble, it's easy to understand why so many people are such a fan of his. But why is it that so many MMA fans are so against him? And why do so many fighters seem to hate him? And I think the answer is very simple. They're obviously Islam Makhachev fans. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Please, Makhachev fans, please don't bully me. Well, there's some truth to that, as there probably has something to do with the fact that Topuria's persona is a wannabe McGregor James Bond villain, starting problems with fighters that he isn't going to be able to fight anytime soon, while avoiding others that he should be fighting. I mean, this man has beef with everybody from Paddy Pimblett to Arman Sarukian, his own wife, Yair Rodriguez, Bilal Muhammad, Terence Crawford, Conor McGregor, Cristiano Ronaldo, Islam Makhachev, Usman Nurmagomedov, Tagir, basically any Dagestani. Or the fact that a lot of fans and even fighters think of Topuria as fake, insecure, and kind of corny, which isn't actually anything new. Prior to Topuria actually becoming a champion, a lot of fans just thought he was cringe.
Ilia Topuria, credit for trying, but he's doing the same predictable nonsense that anyone that's inspired by Conor McGregor would do, and he just doesn't have the sauce, man. He doesn't have the charisma. Marab, Volk, there's like 3 or 4 other guys on stage that have more charisma than him.
To be fair, probably didn't help Ilia Topuria's case, the fact that he was doing all of this and basically just murdering everyone's fan favorites, like Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and Charles Oliveira. It's even had fans more mad at him for doing this than the fighters themselves.
And you say why you lost to Ilia? I caught. Motherfucker caught me, bruh. Did you not watch the fight? Fucking hit me on the left hook. You okay, bro?
But as long as you keep winning, especially in such exciting fashion, then you too eventually will become a fan favorite. Which seems to be the case with Ilia Topuria, and even though his personality hasn't changed whatsoever, getting some crazy knockouts would really give you the sauce and charisma to get fans excited now to talk shit. So now at the end of 2025, with everyone so excited to see who will be next for Ilia Topuria after talking so much shit about the likes of Paddy Pimblett, Arman Sarukian, Bilal Muhammad, Islam Makhachev, even Terence Crawford, it turns out with all these potential opponents that Topuria's first opponent of 2026 will be his wife in court, fighting for the rights to see his children. And I don't mean to joke about somebody's divorce and their custody battle. It's not a funny situation, but like, to be fair, this did age horribly. But what didn't age horribly was
I met my wife in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, she was living there.
Damn. Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?
But you can find your wife in any place in the world.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on Instagram. You can meet your wife in Miami.
Alright, that's right. But why are you saying that?
Huh?
Why are you saying that?
Everyone says that. Best place to work out too, Miami, because you can just walk outside and run the water.
yeah, not only did that not age well for Topuria, but that was only 4 months ago. But hey, not as if Ilia Topuria is going to take all that disrespect. So he did what any self-respecting man would do and beat up the guy that didn't even say anything.
Damn it.
What the f was that about, huh? What's up, you fat pig? What, you don't see where you're f***ing going?
I wasn't even driving.
Don't shut the f*** up, you f***ing piece of bacon!
Why'd I get picked on?
Though all divorce jokes aside, it's not as if fans are hating Topuria for going through this difficult time in his life right now. Granted, it's not going to stop fans from making jokes about Topuria, making posts about it as if he's going through a high school breakup. And with what Mrs. Topuria has been posting as of late, it's now starting to have fans speculate on the cause for this divorce in the first place. And of course, I don't know any of the reason behind it, especially since we haven't seen how any of it has played out in court or who's going to get the kids, and the fact that we're just going off internet rumors rumors and speculation right now. But what I do know is that the fans are mad at Topuria for this now that he's going to be prioritizing his time in the court over his time in the cage and our entertainment. And so with Topuria not returning anytime soon, leading the UFC to instead put on this piece of shit for an interim title. Which not only having a lot of fans mad at him for this, but I've actually started to see fans speculate that he's going through this divorce to duck Arman Tsarukyan. And there's been an abundance of people hating on Topuria, saying he's always taken the easy route in his career, as if he's not just knocking out some of the greatest fighters we've ever seen.
They're already putting him in the GOAT conversation, saying that he has the best 3-fight streak win they've ever seen. These are people that just...
Chat, I'm like... What? It just is. It just is one of the best free fights strings you could put together. It genuinely is one of the best.
These are people that just started watching it. These are like all the people that started watching MMA when Conor McGregor started fighting.
That's the classic right there. Whenever people have an opinion that you disagree with, just say they started watching when McGregor was fighting, which you can't even do anymore. McGregor was fighting 10 fucking years ago. You know, like, how far back do you need people to go? You know what I mean? Like, mate, it's so fucking dumb.
This is the best 3-fight streak they've ever seen?
It's one of them.
Have you heard of Boss Rutan?
Oh, hell no, bro. The Kevin Randleman fight, yeah. I don't get law, no. He beat Shamrock.
Have you heard of BJ Penn? Have you heard of Tank Abbott? Are you...
I'm not even gonna bring myself to go into that. I'm just gonna move on. But even as a Topuria glazer like myself that wants to see the Tsarukyan fight, even I can't deny, this man would just go out of his way to get any other fight but the #1 contender. And I'm not even talking about trying to fight Pimlet or Makhachev or his wife in court, but even trying to start fights with the likes of Terence Crawford, all because of this.
Who do you watch in the UFC that you think has the best boxing?
My guy, what's his name?
You seen Topuria's? Cody Garbrandt?
Yeah, he the best UFC boxer.
Have you seen Topuria? Have you seen his fights recently?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Cody got them hands.
Just that 20-second clip alone on One Nelt podcast really had Topuria heated enough to say, who wins in a fight? I won't talk about what would happen between me and Crawford in an octagon. I'll talk about what would happen in a ring. I put him to sleep in the first contact.
Ilia Topuria says that if you guys ever boxed, he would knock you out basically on the first punch.
That dude drunk, you know. Hey, you know, a lot of MMA guys, they drink a lot, so he must have been on that alcohol that day.
Yeah, after all that, it seemed Terence Crawford just didn't even give a f***. No, not as if that's going to stop Topuria from still trying to chase this fight. That's just never going to happen.
He then responded yesterday via Twitter, Crawford, whenever you want, I'll teach you how to dance the mariachi in the ring, and Canelo, I'll save you a round after him.
So not just trying to call for a fight with Crawford, but also Canelo. We're calling out more boxers than actual contenders at this point. And it's not even like this was to prove a point or that Crawford started anything. He just gave his opinion on a podcast for 20 seconds. Granted, a shit opinion, but like, why would it even matter? He's cool with Cody Garbrandt, so he's probably just being nice to him and probably doesn't even watch that much of Topuria to begin with.
When he seen me at the UFC, he came up and shaking my hand and saying, what's up to me? I didn't even know who he was.
And not to mention, it's not as if he said Cody Garbrandt's even a better fighter. He just said he has better boxing, which is like, is it even true? And like, who would even care? You're a UFC champion of the world while Cody Garbrandt looks like he's going through a midlife crisis at 34.
You know, but then I see him online talking about he'd knock me out in the first round and this and that and this. Well, if you wanted to fight me, you had the opportunity to tell me like, hey man, I want to fight you. What's up? Like, that's fake. I'm not gonna go hide behind, you know, the keyboard and things like that, and then be like, oh, I knocked this dude out, this and that and this. I think that's fake.
And funny enough, with Crawford saying all this only 2 months ago, as of this week, Arman Tsarukyan on the very same show is giving the very same perspective.
Who would mean more in terms of beating? Like, who don't you like more?
Ilia Topuria.
Why?
Because he's a fake.
Why do you say that?
I mean, on the real life, he behaving different. On the camera, he's talking shit and like a completely different guy.
And for any of those wondering, what Arman Tsarukyan is getting at is a story that is awfully similar to the Crawford one. Arman, every time we see each other in person, you freeze up like a scared duck with no idea what to do. You know I handle you however I want. I fight whoever the UFC chooses. And remember, I slapped you and you just laughed. Then you go around acting like a gangster. So keep going. You're on the right path. Just a few levels below me, kid. Yeah, I don't know what the f he's on about, and I don't know why he would include the video itself while saying all that. Like, I initially thought he said all that and then someone else released the footage and he was caught in 4K. Actually, not even 4K. This was like it was recorded on a Nokia. But at least we got Arman Sarukian's response to all of this. Bro, you touched my neck like we were taking a family photo, and now you're calling it a slap online? The clip is clear. To be fair, it wasn't that clear. It looked like it was in 240p. Your insecurities, even clearer. I don't need to act tough for Twitter. To be fair, you did headbutt a man for basically no reason at all while getting on your tiptoes to do it. My work is inside the cage and out. If you want to know what a real slap feels like, I'll be happy to educate you. See you soon, John Jones. And not only do these guys think that Topuria has fake interactions with them, but also going as far as to say that even his image is fake.
I'm not rich like Ilia Topuria flying private jets always.
Yes, I saw that. You don't have that?
I don't have jet. You're supposed to have jet, not fake like he did, like fake carpet with his name or last name.
You don't think he owns that jet?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it turns out that the closest thing we'll get to Topuria versus Sarukian is just them going band for band. Though, to be fair, it is hard to go against what Arman Sarukian's saying here. I mean, how can I disagree with the Nepo baby on who has fake wealth? Though, in all seriousness, it does seem hard to disagree with that Ilia Topuria is fake with his image. I mean, the man has a tattoo of his own portrait on his own chest. And genuinely, I'm not even trying to hate on it, because when people act like this, it gives you some of the most unnecessarily funny moments you can imagine, like this.
I read a lot of books. I try to read at least 30 minutes a day, but it's every day. Every day.
So, like, what kind of stuff do you read?
I read more like... I read a lot of books. I love reading books. Also, how can I tell you? And yeah, this is the most of the books I read.
Literally anything would have been better. You could have even said the Bible. You just literally anything.
With Alex Haley. I don't know how far you are into the book, but what's your biggest takeaway so far?
I kind of just started a couple days ago, but I've read and a lot of notes over the years. This is my first time actually reading this from start to finish. But just a very smart man. Very, very, very smart man. And basically...
And it's funny he said this to Joe Rogan of all people, because I'm not trying to accuse Topuria of not reading books, because as we know, he likes reading a lot of books. But it's just so funny him saying all that, coming across as if he's saying it just to look like he reads books. And one of the only clips I've ever remembered from Joe Rogan's comedy is perfectly articulating this moment exactly.
I love the show, The Game of Thrones, but I hate everybody who read the books. It's weird. It's a conundrum. I don't hate that they read the books. I hate that they have to tell me they read the books. You know, there's one of those things that people do where they tell you they read the book just to let you know that they read.
And hey, his comedy may be awful, but that was very accurate. And in Topuria's defense, most adults probably do get flustered when you ask them to name some books.
You know, I didn't know that I was gonna be talking to a bunch of illiterate people who don't know how to read. But
you're literally 15. What do you know?
Bro, you know how to read?
Yes, I do know how to read.
Name 10 books.
Are you serious?
Yes, 100%. Name 10 books.
Well, I read Game of Thrones.
And also in Topuria's defense, he probably saw Prime McGregor reading and thought that would be on the checklist.
The key to living the law of attraction. Some good shit.
And while looking at the list, probably explains why Topuria's been going after Crawford.
What money would I get out of fighting him?
Well, I know Floyd made a lot, obviously, to fight Conor.
He's not nowhere near on the level of Conor McGregor. Let's be real. Stop it. Don't ever compare him to Conor. Conor was here. He's here.
I mean, sure, he's one of the biggest stars in the UFC right now, but there's no denying he's not on Conor McGregor's level. No matter how many Conor McGregor tattoos he gets, how far he manages to get on the McGregor career checklist, and hopefully for all of our sake, he doesn't get to the part where he has a dick pic leaked, where he has a dumbbell duct tape to himself. And even if Topuria can't get on McGregor's level of stardom, it's not going to stop him from seeming to allegedly be buying followers on Instagram. Yeah, these people that don't like Topuria don't fuck around with this shit. Like, they will keep track of his Instagram following like no other. They're basically the FBI following this man.
He's fake. He's so fake, like half of his followers, where it's been proven half his followers on Instagram are bots. He's the fakest person ever. He's just a McGregor copycat, and I'm getting sick of him. He's a German.
However, the interesting part about Topuria being a wannabe McGregor, usually McGregor has a lot of appreciation for these guys like O'Malley, Ian Gary. So it'd be interesting to think what he has to say about Topuria.
How do you think you would beat Ilia Topuria? How do I see Holloway Topuria going? I grab him by the scruff of the chest and slap that little nose off him, yeah? I think Topuria for me is a non-champion in my opinion. He might have a strap, but it's a meaningless strap in my opinion as he holds it. Little ding-dong of a thing he is, yeah? I'm fucking Spanish. I'm in Marbella, bro, yeah? I don't get the buzz with him. There is no buzz with him. See what happens here when you cross me, bro? You come across me.
Yeah, needless to say, he doesn't f with him at all. Now, maybe that's to do with the fact that McGregor was just acting like a drunk lunatic. Or maybe he's seen what Topuria's had to say about him and never forgiven him since.
¿Qué opinas de Conor McGregor?
A nivel...
Mira, te voy a preguntar primero a nivel humano. Porque creo que fue Gonzalo Campos que me dijo que tú un día lo viste y te dio mala vibra.
Súper mala vibra.
No super mala energía. Prepotencia.
Te lo prometo que como un aura de infierno.
You can drop the act, buddy. It was love at first sight. Honestly, though, I do actually think he's being sincere here because, not really hard to believe. But it must suck having to go the rest of your life with your brother having matching McGregor tattoos. All while the only thing McGregor having to say about you is this.
You little short-ass tickle, box your jaw in. On sight. I'm in Marbella, Spain, yeah?
Not that I think it's going to bother Topuria that McGregor don't fuck with him like that, because in all honesty, I don't actually think it was love at first sight. I think he just looks at McGregor as a blueprint on how to become a star. And as much as he may just shamelessly copy him, I don't think it's to just be McGregor. I think it's to be the next McGregor. Though to look up to a guy that doesn't really like you is one thing. The fact that he even likes Ian Gary, but not you, that's tough. And what's also tough is the fact that Topuria got upset with the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo one time said how he likes Max Holloway because he's tough, but thinks Ilia Topuria talks too much and doesn't show enough because his win over Volkanovski was a compromised Volkanovski because of the Makhachev fight, and doesn't really rate Topuria all that much because he doesn't have any elite wins at the time, but says if he could beat Max Holloway, which he did, then he'd respect him for it. Which I wouldn't have really thought all that much about, but Topuria has his right to say whatever he wants back. I mean, He'd kick the shit out of him. He'd kick the shit out of me. I don't even know why I'm making this video. But who knows, maybe Ilia Topuria just ignoring it and being the bigger man by not saying anything at all.
Así que se joda Cristiano mientras exista Messi.
I'm not even mad at it or hating on it. It just kind of feels like blasphemy that you'd say that as a Madrid guy.
He's not even from Spain. He's from Benidorm, so he's not a Madrid fan. He just jumped on the coattails to get more fans and more followers. He's fake.
And for those that are unaware, Ronaldo fans are 1, sexually attracted to him, but 2, f***ing insane.
I want to show you this bad boy right here, man. Ooh, looks nice, don't it? It looks nice, don't it?
Come on, bro. About like Cristiano Ronaldo car?
Yes. That's amazing.
So that's a whole other fan base that are going to hate Topuria now. And I only bring up what seems to be his one-way feud with Ronaldo because as of this week, it turns out that Ronaldo has now become a shareholder of Ilia Topuria's MMA promotion, WOW FC. And seeing the post announcements about it are so funny. Breaking, Cristiano Ronaldo is now a shareholder of Ilia Topuria's MMA promotion, WOW FC. WOW FC is building something unique and powerful. Ilia Topuria said last year that Ronaldo can go fuck himself and would want Messi attending his fights instead. And I doubt Ronaldo cares about that or even knows that he said all that. But I'm just saying, you might want to be careful with these Ronaldo fans.
Bro, this dude really a Messi fan, dog.
I'm not really a Messi fan.
Yeah, you are a Messi fan.
I just know he's better than Ronaldo.
Now, after all of these feuds, beefs, whatever you call them, basically all of these guys saying Topuria's fake, which I have no idea whether that's true or not because, well, I've never met the bloke, so how the f would I know? But what I do know is that Messi is in fact better than Ronaldo. So, you know, wasn't the worst take Topuria's had. Though may have said it out of jealousy since Ronaldo's cool with McGregor, even though later on would look like he regret that decision. And what I and everyone else now knows with the announcement of Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje for the interim title, that Ilia Topuria's next opponent after the court case will be the winner of Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. Who the f are we kidding? It's going to be Paddy Pimblett, which fans would usually be excited for since there's bad blood between them. Both are fun fighters, both have big names. But the issue is when there's a #1 contender called Arman Sarukian, or as Rampage Jackson calls him.
What's his name? Lukin? What's his name? Arman and Lukin?
Most fans aren't going to be happy seeing the champion take on the easier fight, especially when it's undeserved. As a biased fan myself, I personally couldn't be any more excited to see Paddy Pimblett get a title shot while on easy mode. And even though it's the UFC that are putting this bullshit together, even I can see how bad of a look this is for Topuria by a lot of fans that think he is actually ducking Arman Sarukian, especially those that think he's getting a divorce just to duck Arman Sarukian, and how even fighters now thinking he's ducking Arman Sarukian.
Is he trying to run from Arman? Is Ilia running from Arman?
I do think so.
Oh, okay,
I do think so. I do think he is threatened by Arman. Arman's big, he's strong, he's great at the weight class, his boxing is clean, great grappling. It's a tough fight for him to where he can go to 70s. Maybe he doesn't get the win. It doesn't make sense to me. The only fight for Ilia Topuria right now is Arman.
Yeah, I'm sure there's absolutely no bias with TJ Dillashaw saying that on the Jackson podcast, as Arman Sarukian is part of the Jackson team. Personally, however, I don't actually think Ilia Topuria is ducking Arman Sarukian. I especially don't think he's fighting for the rights to see his children just to duck Arman Sarukian. But I do think the UFC are doing some bullshit that I personally very much appreciate, but I can understand isn't a good look for Topuria. And even if you can look past how obvious this is by the UFC, you should have more reason to believe that this is some bullshit, especially when maybe the biggest champion industry plant we've ever seen in Sean O'Malley is even hinting at this.
Arman is no fucking joke. Arman versus Ilia is an interesting matchup. I do not think the UFC will make Arman versus Ilia because I think they love Ilia as a champion. He's a great champion, and I don't think they really want Arman to become champion. He has a legitimate chance at beating Ilia. I can't believe I said it. I think Ilia might knock him out, but if anyone has a chance of beating Arman at Ilia at 155, it's Arman, the Turkey Man.
And it can't just be me that finds it awfully interesting that a former UFC champion that some people would call, not me mind you, but some people would call the Nina drama levels of industry plants as far as UFC champions go, actually speculate that the UFC would deliberately try to have Topuria avoid Arman Sarukian. A former champion, mind you, that was also trying to move divisions, get fights in boxing, and basically do anything but fight the #1 contender, Merab, who pretty much managed to derail all of those plans. So there's not actually anybody better that would probably understand this situation and knows the repercussions of actually facing the #1 contender. Because as unfortunate as it is, Sean O'Malley went from headlining a Sphere card to...
But Paddy versus Justin Gaethje announced at halftime. Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. I'm not even the co-main, dude. I am falling off hard. This is, god damn it. This is...
I seen that.
This was me. This is me. What's next? Prelims? The stock of the Sugar Show is down bad right now. It's not good. It's not looking good.
And again, to be clear, I don't actually think Ilia Topuria is ducking Arman Sarukian. I also don't even think Sean O'Malley thinks he's ducking. I think it's just the UFC are so desperate for Paddy Pimblett to have a title, which, again, thank you so much, UFC. We really much appreciate this. But if Arman Sarukian was the only option offered to Ilia Topuria, I think he would take it. And in fact, I would actually pick him to win. But a lot of people aren't going to care about that. They're just going to care about the fact that this fight isn't happening.
We do not care.
And after listening to what Big Bro had to say...
Who do you think your brother should fight next?
The perfect scenario will be fight for the third title, but I think that he have to defend the title in lightweight division.
Crazy, I know, right? I couldn't believe it either. Alexandre Topuria is actually the older brother, which makes you wonder, maybe it was actually his influence to get the matching McGregor tattoos. But regardless of matching McGregor tattoos, the fact that Big Bro is even saying one title defense and then thinking of moving up. Yeah, we're definitely going to be playing GTA 6 before Arman Sarukian ever gets a title shot. Unless, of course, Paddy Pimblett beats Topuria. So, I can't believe I just said that. Now, there's a lot of Illy sexuals out there, much like myself, that, to be honest, I should really stop saying it like that. It's starting to sound alarming. But a lot of Ilia Topuria fans saying, how can this man be scared of Arman Sarukian if he's willing to chase Islam Makhachev? And believe me, he's doing everything to chase Islam Makhachev. He's calling him out. He's talking shit about Makhachev's performances. He's talking about him on podcasts. And even moving to any division he has to get this fight. He'd even transition if that's what it's going to take. Ilia's chasing this man down like Dexter Morgan chases down his victims. Though not like he's trying to drug him, strip him, and then lay him out on a table. He just wants to lay him out on the canvas. Which I would find hard to believe, as I would pick Islam Makhachev in that fight, especially at welterweight right now. But to be fair, I also find this hard to believe.
Me personally, I would ask him, like, what's your favorite submission? Whatever. I don't know. Dark choke. I'm gonna submit you with that.
By the way, he picked up Max Holloway that one time. Who knows? Although, it is Islam Makhachev. Creatine Islam Makhachev, mind you. But how the fight would go is neither here or there, because I have no idea, because I'm a fucking idiot. And despite the fact that Islam Makhachev seems pretty chill about the idea of the fight happening.
So why didn't Ilia and you happen ever? Or do you think it'll ever happen, like, eventually? Or if it does, whatever?
It can happen. Like, easy, maybe, like, biggest fight.
I think it'll be the biggest fight.
Biggest fight,
Yeah.
everybody know, and I also want.
However, after Ilia Topuria on Instagram Live saying how he sees himself fighting Islam Makhachev, especially in the cage, because he wouldn't want to fight him in the streets, because he doesn't want to pay for his medical bills. Which, by the way, if this was just all rage bait, then good job to Ilia Topuria, because Makhachev's teammate, Usman Nurmagomedov, had to respond with, when did you ever fight on the street, European boy? And believe me, I was just as confused as all of you were, considering they're not that far apart from each other, and on top of that, Usman may have forgotten about this, but he does represent Russia. But Russia's actually in Asia. Oh, shut the fuck up. But regardless of the friendly fire, Ilia Topuria responded back with, it has been a long time, to be honest. How are you doing with drugs? Are you still on steroids? Now, keep in mind, Usman Nurmagomedov has actually, literally, objectively, factually speaking, failed a drug test and has been suspended for it. So with what I just said in mind, that was enough for fellow Dagestanis like Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov to say, Ilia Topuria, do you need all this? Fly to me. Let's rest on the shores of the Indian Ocean. And personally, my favorite completely normal post to Ilia Topuria from fellow Dagestani, Takir Ulanabekov. Ilia, I advise you to put aside your dividend and find a good dentist. Your dental structure will be affected at the first meeting. The Dagestani crew are entitled to feel how they like, and they feel like they don't fuck with Ilia Topuria. And so with Ilia still chasing Islam Makhachev after winning his Faken title, still isn't enough for Usman Nurmagomedov to be a illy-sexual like ourselves.
Come on, brother. Ilia Topuria, how he can be lightweight #1 in the world? He cannot be. He did only one fight.
Well, that's good to know by Usman's logic. He doesn't consider Islam Makhachev to be the best welterweight in the world because he only has one welterweight win.
I have 19 fights in lightweight.
Well, it's good to know that Usman's logic for who's better in a division is who has more wins. So I'm sure he has Jim Miller as the GOAT and above Khabib.
No, like I beat former champions, I beat champions, and I think my resume is like better than him.
I mean, Ilia Topuria also beat champions, former champions that weren't PFL champions. Also knocked out some of the best to ever do it.
He have only 15 or 14, 13. How many fights he have?
I think 14. I think that's the number.
Yeah, but I have 14 finished in my career.
I mean, to be fair, the MMA media member that got Ilia Topuria's record wrong kind of maybe did him dirty on this. But Ilia does, in fact, even have more finishes than Usman Nurmagomedov. But enough about Ilia Topuria and how amazing he is and the fact he's a double champion at the age of 28, which coincidentally was the same age McGregor was when he became a double champion, who the Dagestanis also don't f*** with, who also believed he could win the welterweight and BMF title. Oh my god. That's a crazy coincidence. But what isn't a coincidence is how many people Ilia Topuria has just turned against him. Whether that be opponents, teammates, boxers, mentors, spouses, Ronaldo fans. Whatever the reason may be, we're all going to have to admit at some point, it's been working out pretty well so far, so who are we to tell him otherwise? Will fans find him corny at times? Absolutely. Will they completely overlook it when he gets big knockouts on big events? Absolutely. Because regardless of how you act, how much people can criticize it, as long as you keep winning, especially getting knockouts in MMA, yeah, you'll have a lot of fans. And sure, that also means people are going to be hating on you. But I mean, Ilia Topuria has been the fill-in this whole time. Is that really something that's going to get under his skin anytime soon?
Can anybody get under your skin? Does anybody get under your skin?
I think the only person is my wife, probably.
Oh, God, that was painful. At least now there's definitely nothing that can really bother him any more than what he's going through already with this marriage being over. Especially if you're the type of person dumb enough to believe some of these thumbnails going around on YouTube right now. She took everything. She took my children. I'll smash her boyfriend. This has to stop. But what won't stop is Ilia Topuria talking his shit, which won't stop people from accusing him of being fake and maybe even having short man syndrome, which, to be fair, the choice of shoes he picks probably, yeah, you're on your own on that one, buddy. Funny enough, even reminding me of how Conor McGregor would always have the most upright posture whenever taking photos with people bigger than him. And based on the way that Ilia Topuria talks about the greatest short king of them all.
I never was a big fan of him.
No?
No.
His
First
prime?
of all, when you call yourself a Mickey Mouse.
Mighty
Mouse. So I always thought that he was a Mickey Mouse. And I'm like, bro, how the f are you calling yourself a Mickey Mouse?
I mean, I think it took 30 minutes to get here, but I think we figured it. I think we understand Topuria now. To be fair, I actually think it's way cooler that he's doing all of this at the height that he is. He's kind of like Vegeta, if Vegeta, you know, his hairline wasn't cooked. And I know the UFC claims him at 5'7", but if you're shorter than Lionel Messi, you ain't fooling me, buddy, unless you're wearing these, of course. But shoeless aside, when you're knocking out legends that are towering over you, that's cool as f. It's just a shame that not everybody sees it that way. Yet, anyway. You'll all become an illisexual someday, one way or another. Because somehow we got two guys that were knocked out by Ilia Topuria that everybody, including myself, want to fight for the BMF belt. But when we see Ilia Topuria with the belt, we're like, oh, nah, that's cringe. Which, to be fair, it is cringe. I mean, even the belt itself is cringe. So pretending to have the belt is double cringe. But there's no denying that Ilia Topuria is not only one of the baddest fighters on the roster, but one of the baddest champions we have going. I, for one, can't wait to see his first defense next year, besides for the court case, even if it is Paddy Pimblett. And I, for one, actually appreciate all the shit talk he does because it is funny. I would say maybe don't try rage baiting boxers that really don't care about you whatsoever and end up little broing you. And if you really want to box that badly, then just do what every other MMA fighter does. Wait till your contract's over, get washed up, and hopefully Jake Paul gives you a call. And I'm sure there'll be plenty more beefs to come, but that's about it from me for this video. Yeah, see ya.
Sign up to my boy's YouTube channel. That is JG2. And for those who don't, you can do me a favor and you can bend the knee to King Triple C2.